We are the United Architects of the Philippines Laguna Chapter.
The United Architects of the Philippines Laguna Chapter was formally inducted on April 6, 1994, being the 65th chapter of the United Architects of the Philippines. I had always thought of forming a chapter here in Laguna. Prior to its formation, there were only two chapters here in District B4, those being Quezon Province Chapter and San Pablo City Chapter. So, during the 1993 National Convention, I approached then Vice President for Area B, Rene Ponsalan, to inquire about the formation, the details on how to form a chapter. He introduced me to then National President Jaime Marquez, and we discussed the possible formation of the chapter. So before I left, they challenged me to form a chapter. But the problem was I didn't know the architects here in Laguna, except for architect Danny Lanceras, who was my kababayan. Good thing he knew architect Matt Flores from Los Baños, and he introduced me to him, and architect Matt introduced me to the other architects who were either living or working in Los Baños. We had the first organizational meeting on January 28, 1994 at Anaho Restaurant in Los Baños. We initially discussed the formation of the chapter, and we tried to look for other architects in Laguna area. Somehow I met architect Mario Savalla from Santa Rosa, and he was familiar with several architects from Santa Rosa, Cabuyao, Binyan, and San Pedro. So he started contacting them, and soon enough we were able to gather some architects. We would meet at Calesa Cafe in Santa Rosa, and on February 16, we held an election of officers, and there I was voted the charter president. On February 19 to 20, 1994, there was the 5th Area B conference held at the Pook Maria Makiling in Los Baños, up in the mountain of Makiling. So there, the UAP Laguna chapter was introduced and became a provisionary chapter until we were able to gather 20 or so members at the minimum. And as soon as we have gathered some 20 members, I contacted the national office and I requested for a chartering ceremony. And on April 6, 1994, UAP Laguna chapter was formally chartered at Calesa Cafe again with our guest of honor, then Governor Restituto Luna. So, National President Marquez and Vice President Rene Ponsalan and some other officers from UAP and some architects from the Manila chapters came over to witness the ceremonies. After the induction, we thought we should meet more often to familiarize with each other. So we decided to meet weekly at Calesa Cafe. The first and third Wednesdays would be more or less the formal meetings, and the second and fourth Wednesdays were purely fellowship. So we became close to each other, and we would join activities of the UAP. We attended the national convention in Cebu, in Baguio, and the National Conference for Architects in Davao. I think in Legazpi, in Angeles City, and we also attended the Area B assembly held at Lagos del Sol in Galiraya and Owen's Ward Farm in Lucena. So we were very active then, and as you can see now, the rest is history. So that's a bit of historical trivia for our chapter. Thank you very much.